On behalf of the University of Delhi, a very warm welcome to the chief guest of today's function, Shri Amitabh Kant G, Sherpa of the G20. Thank you, sir.
नमस्कार। आज के हमारे सम्मानित मंच मुख्य वक्ता श्री अमिताभ कांत जी, प्रोफेसर योगेश सिंह, माननीय कुलपति दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय, प्रोफेसर बलराम पानी, अधिष्ठाता महाविद्यालय दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय, प्रोफेसर श्री प्रकाश सिंह, निदेशक दक्षिणी परिसर, डॉक्टर विकास गुप्ता, रजिस्ट्रार दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय, प्रोफेसर के रत्नावली, अधिष्ठाता अकादमिक। कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित सभी सदस्यों का स्वागत व हार्दिक अभिनंदन। आरंभ में संगीत व कला संकाय के विद्यार्थी प्रस्तुत करेंगे दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय का कुल गीत। आप सभी अपने स्थान पर खड़े हो जाएं।
जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम। श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। सकल वसुधा निज कुटुंब की भावना, संस्कृति सनातन, आधुनिक शिक्षा पुरातन, ज्ञान धाराओं का संगम।
देश की स्वाधीनता हित भूमिका शतकोटि वंदन।
निष्ठा धृति सत्यम के मंगल, दिव्य भावों का समागम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। भव्य महाविद्यालयों के परिसरों से चिर सुशोभित, श्रेष्ठ गुरुजन कर रहे नित्य छात्र और छात्राएं दीक्षित।
सद्चरित्राचार पावन साधना संकल्प संयम।
नवल वैश्विक चेतना, नव क्रांति संस्कारों का उद्गम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। श्रेष्ठ सुंदर दिव्य दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय विहंगम। जयति जय जय जयति जय जय ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम। ज्ञान का आलोक अनुपम।
बहुत ही सुंदर प्रस्तुति। अस्तो माँ सद्गमया, तमसो माँ ज्योतिर्गमया, मृत्योर्मा अमृतम गमया। मैं आज के हमारे मुख्य वक्ता, मैं मंच पर उपस्थित महानुभावों से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि वे दीप प्रज्वलन कर कार्यक्रम का विधिवत शुभारंभ करें। माँ सरस्वती के आह्वान हेतु संगीत व कला संकाय के विद्यार्थी सरस्वती वंदना प्रस्तुत करेंगे, जिसका निर्देशन डॉक्टर विनीत गोस्वामी ने किया है।
शुभं करोति कल्याणं, आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा, शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपं ज्योति नमोस्तुते। दीपं ज्योति नमोस्तुते। दीपं ज्योति नमोस्तुते। विशालाक्षि मां ब्रह्मजाया विशालाक्षि मां ब्रह्मजाया स्वरात्मिका विद्यारूपा सुरपूजिता सुहासिनी शुभदा सुरपूजिता सुहासिनी शुभदा सौदामिनी निरंजना सरस्वती हे महामाया विशालाक्षि मां ब्रह्मजाया विशालाक्षि जाया स्वरात्मिका विद्यारूपा स्वरात्मिका स्वरात्मिका स्वरात्मिका
A group of 20 is a premier forum for international cooperation on most important aspects of the international, economic, and financial agenda. It brings together the world's major advanced and emerging economies. Further, it plays a critical role in steering the global economy through the significant challenges it faces. It comprises 60% of the world's population, 87% of the world's GDP, and 75% of the global trade. And with the motto, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, we have today with us Sir Amitabh Kant G to give us a special lecture in collaboration with University of Delhi. And like a shair once said, मैं अकेला ही चला था जानबे मंजिल, लोग मिलते गए, कारवां बनता गया.
वैश्विक पटल पर एक पृथ्वी, एक परिवार, एक भविष्य के मंत्र के साथ भारत ने अपने इरादे जता दिए हैं कि वो दुनिया की अगुवाई करने के लिए पूरी तरह से तैयार है. विशिष्ट व्याख्यान के साथ ही आज दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय का वार्षिक पुरस्कार वितरण समारोह भी है, जिसमें उत्कृष्टता पुरस्कार दिए जाएंगे. सभी पुरस्कार विजेताओं व उनके परिवारजनों का भी हार्दिक अभिनंदन. अब मैं औपचारिक स्वागत भाषण हेतु आग्रह करती हूँ डॉक्टर विकास गुप्ता, रजिस्ट्रार, दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय.
Thank you so much. Most respected chief guest of today's function, Shri Amitabh Kant G, Sherpa G20, Govt of India, esteemed Vice Chancellor, University of Delhi, dignitaries on the dais, distinguished invitees, awardees, colleagues, friends from media, and my dear students. A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of the University of Delhi and my personal behalf, I welcome you all to the special lecture on G20 and annual award ceremony. This year is a unique amalgamation of 100 years of the existence of the university, 75 years of our independence, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, followed by Azadi Ka Amrit Kal, and the presidency of G20 bestowed to our country. It is a privilege and honor to have amongst us Shri Amitabh Kant, Sherpa G20 as the chief guest, who is also an alumnus of the University of Delhi. Shri Amitabh Kant Ji is presently G20 Sherpa, Govt of India, formerly Chief Executive Officer of the Niti Aayog. He earned a degree in economics from the St. Stephen's College of the University of Delhi. He has also been a Chevening Scholar. In the past, he has served as Secretary, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion of the Govt of India, wherein he was instrumental in formulating and implementing of industrial policy and strategies for industrial development, foreign direct investment policy, policies related to intellectual design and geographical indications. He has been a key driver of the incredible India, Make in India, and God's own country. We welcome you, sir, to this university. I also welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh, who has been guiding and supporting us in all our endeavors in the year-long centenary celebrations of the university. सर हमेशा डिस्करेज करते हैं हम लोगों को कि सर के बारे में ना बोलें, लेकिन 2 लाइनें मैं ज़रूर बोलना चाहूँगा सर। हयात लेके चलो, कायनात लेके चलो, चले तो सारे ज़माने को साथ लेके चलो। This hall has witnessed several programs, but today we have gathered here to understand the importance of G20, for which I say for myself that I know little about. However, we all realize that it is a crucial forum for global cooperation and coordination, and more importantly, the entire humanity on this earth is looking towards us and the role that our country will be playing to make the lives of every human being resonate with its theme, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, and one future. And also to recognize the achievements of those who have made significant contributions to our society and the university. At the same time, it is important to take a moment to celebrate the achievements of individuals and the colleges and departments that have made a positive impact in our university. The annual award ceremony is an opportunity to recognize those who have shown exceptional leaderships, creativity, and dedication in their field. We will be presenting awards in 11 categories, including the highest award of the university, Nishtha Dhriti Satyam, Samman, and other awards. Each winner represents a shining example of what we can achieve when we set our minds to a goal and work tirelessly to make it a reality. As we move forward into this important program and award ceremony, let us keep in mind the urgent need for cooperation and the vital role that each of us can play in creating a better world for ourselves and for our future generations. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
थैंक यू सर। मैं माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर योगेश सिंह जी से आग्रह करती हूं कि वे हमारे मुख्य वक्ता श्री अमिताभ कांत जी के स्वागत हेतु शॉल, पौधा, स्मारक चिन्ह व पुस्तकें आदि भेंट करें। हमारे मुख्य वक्ता श्री अमिताभ कांत जी का स्वागत। कॉफी टेबल बुक व पुस्तकें। धन्यवाद। अब आज के इस कार्यक्रम की प्रस्तावना हेतु मैं आमंत्रित करती हूं दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति प्रोफेसर योगेश सिंह जी को।
हाँ बेटा, यहाँ से ठीक है, चलेगा। Good morning to all of you. Shri Amitabh Kant, alumnus of our university, chief guest of the event and Sherpa of G20. Professor Balram Pani, Dean of Colleges. Professor Shri Prakash Singh, Director South Campus, University of Delhi. Dr. Vikas Gupta, Registrar. Professor K. Ratnabali, Dean Academic Affairs. Other respected deans, head of the departments, principals of different colleges. Shri Gajendra Solanki, the poet who has written University Song, other respected teachers, outstanding awardees, and their families, and my dear students, good morning to all of you. Today is an event on special lecture on India's presidency of G20, prospects and opportunities. The topic is very relevant, and the most relevant is the chief guest of the function, who is the Sherpa of G20. I would, on behalf of University of Delhi, I welcome you, sir, in the university. India has completed 75 years of its independence, and Delhi University has also completed 100 years of its existence. Congratulations to all. You know, when I was thinking about the G20 and role of our country and the difficulties which the world is facing today, I would like to quote UN General Secretary Antonio Guterres. I would like to quote him. Humanity is on thin ice. He said recently, humanity is on thin ice, and that ice is melting fast. Our world needs climate action on all fronts, everything, everywhere, all at once. It means what? Something is not right, and we have to take immediate action. And the words which are very, very important: reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle. If we want to take some climate actions, then reduce, reuse, repair, and recycle all are very, very important, and we have to work towards all these. We have to design instruments for effective implementation of these words. And Dr. Vikas Gupta has just rightly said, G20, which is a group of important countries of the world, 20 countries, and both developing and developed countries. It's a multilateral platform representing over 85% of the global GDP, 75% of global trade, and 2/3 of the world's population. 85% of the world GDP, 75% of the trade. These numbers are, very impactful numbers. And if this group decide and commit something to the world, then they can also do it. It means what? What everyone expects, that whatever decisions are taken, if we want to implement, we can implement those decisions. And now India has the presidency of the G20 group, meaning thereby we can also suggest something significant, keeping in view the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam word is not new to us. It is in our culture. It is in our systems. It is in our thought process. That's why in Delhi University also, because I have given only 5 minutes, so just to be very, very precise and brief about the whole thing, Delhi University has also decided to participate actively in the activities of G20. So what we want now, we will constitute 20 groups, one for one country. Every group will have 3 colleges. One college will be designated as a parent college, and 2 colleges will be associated college. Then 2 teaching departments of the university. It means what? 5 institutions will join hands. They will target and design programs for a particular country. They will also like to associate the embassy of that country. Then this group will have programs on culture, economics of both countries, impact of economy, and possible roadmap for another 25 years, foods and festivals of both the countries. So in the next few months, Delhi University will have so many functions and debates, discussions on various aspects of two countries. So I would like to request all of you to please participate actively so that something good can come out as a result of deliberation, discussions, workshops, seminars. And we hope that our participation will do something good for our country. With these words, I again welcome Mr. Amitabh Kant in his own university for delivering a lecture on India's presidency of G20 prospects and opportunities. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. A special prize for the composer of the Delhi University Kulgeet is being given to Shri Gajendra Solanki ji, and as he has a flight to catch, his award is given away before the special lecture. So I request our chief guest and Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to kindly give the award. Shri Solanki ji is a world-renowned poet, lyricist, composer, and singer. His interests include fine arts, yoga, and he has over 50 oil paintings on canvas, and he specializes in realism form of fine art. Truly a multifaceted personality. Thank you very much, sir. I'm sorry to request you again, sir, to kindly enlighten us on this very vital subject of the G20. I request our chief guest to kindly deliver the special lecture. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Professor Yogesh Singh, Vice Chancellor of the University of Delhi, Professor Balram Pani, the Dean of Colleges, Professor Shri Prakash Singh, the Director of South Campus, Dr. Vikas Gupta, Registrar, Professor K. Ratnabali, Dean of Academic Affairs, the deans, the heads, the college principals, the teachers, all the awardees, their families, and very importantly, all the students who've assembled here today. First of all, let me thank the Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh, for inviting me to deliver this lecture on India's G20 presidency. I've been alumni of this very, very distinguished university. I've traveled all around this Delhi University. I've grown in this campus, and actually I lived very close by on Court Road, so I spent my afternoons, evenings here in this campus. And to my mind, this is one of the topmost universities of the world. This is one of the finest university in terms of its intellectual caliber. It has some of the finest and the most distinguished faculty members. It is also the largest tertiary education institution in India. And the influence of Delhi University on not merely India but on the world is immense. We don't realize it because we are a part of its day-to-day existence. But many of India's and global scholars, policymakers, politicians, journalists, corporate leaders, and administrators have been associated with this really fine institution. I have worked with some of the finest products of global education system, not merely India. I've worked with corporate leaders, I've worked with startups, I've worked with politicians in my 42 long year career. But I can say that intellectually the finest of them with a multidisciplinary perspective were all from Delhi University. And I can say firsthand that Delhi University has had a tremendous impact on India as a nation. And this institution will go on during its Amrit Kal period to inspire, motivate a new generation of Indians who will build this nation. It will have a huge impact which will be very central to our socio-economic transition as we grow and prosper at high rates in the coming year. These are very seminal years for India. Not only have we completed 75 years of independence, but we are taking over the presidency of G20. I was telling the Vice Chancellor that I'm particularly delighted to be here during his tenure, because one is, your Vice Chancellor is a very inspirational person. He looks so young, he looks like a student himself. So I was asking him the secret of his success for his youthful looks, so that I can also get some recipe from him. So ladies and gentlemen, if you look around the world, this is a very complex period of great turmoil. There's a lot of upheaval taking place in the world. The post-COVID era has seen 200 million people go below the poverty line. Almost 100 million people have lost their jobs. Almost 1/3 of the world is seeing a slowdown in their economies, and 1/3 of the world is in recession. If you look around, 75 countries of the world are facing a global debt crisis. There's a huge challenge of climate action and climate finance. The earth may survive, but we as human beings may not survive if we are not able to reach 1.5 degrees centigrade. And this is an existential threat to all of us as human beings. And therefore, how do we rapidly bring in climate adaptation and mitigation is a huge challenge. There is a challenge of a war going on in Europe for over a year now. Over a year in today's world, which has had a huge implication on food, fuel and fertilizer. And therefore, if the world is not able to provide fertilizer, there will be no food production in the coming years, and this will have huge impact on poverty and the livelihoods of citizens across the world. And on top of all that, you have a new financial crisis with the Silicon Valley Bank and many other banks collapsing in the United States. So we are in the midst of some of the biggest crises the world ever seen post-World War II. And in the midst of these crises, India has taken over the challenge of hosting G20 presidency. To our mind, every crisis is an opportunity. And this is an opportunity for India to shape the destiny of the world. This is an opportunity because in our history of the last 75 years, we have seen a scenario where the developed world has written the agenda and we have only given a response to that. But for the first time in its history, India is really shaping the agenda of the world. And therefore, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has said that India's G20 presidency will be inclusive, it will be decisive, and it will be action-oriented. So, ladies and gentlemen, the theme for our G20 is in the midst of this crisis. It goes back to the ancient Indian civilizational saying of Vasudev Kutumbakam, that is one earth, one family, one future. And this is because we may come from different parts of the world, we may have different colors, we may have different political ideologies, we may have different geographical boundaries, but eventually we all come from the same cosmos and the same cosmic web. And therefore, poverty in one part of the world impacts progress in other parts of the world. COVID in one part of the world impacts all others. And therefore, the world needs to grow as one family. That is the perspective which India is bringing in. That we are all together in this growth and prosperity of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Vice Chancellor had said, G20 is important. It's important because G20 accounts for about 85% of the global GDP, it accounts for 78% of the global trade, it accounts for about 90% of the patents, it accounts for 2/3 of the world population. And therefore, whatever it does has a huge impact on the global scenario. In the past, whenever there has been a financial crisis, a developmental crisis, G20 has acted and acted to set things right. It is not an unwieldy body like United Nations. When the United Nations was constituted, it was not envisaged that the veto power vested in the 5 nations of the world would see a scenario where one of the 5 countries would be at war for a long period of time and make the entire Security Council frozen. And therefore, a large body like comprising of 186 nations has become unwieldy today to arrive at decisions. And therefore, G20 today drives quite a lot of decision making in the world in terms of economy, growth, progress, finance. Now, G20 presidency, the success of it is critical to my mind on 3 different factors. The first and foremost is the political narrative and the developmental perspective that a G20 host brings in, and that's important. Second is the kind of priorities that we spell out in G20. That is, India as the host, what is its priorities and how it wants to shape the destiny of the world. And thirdly, how well we organize it. Are we able to organize it professionally? Are we able to deliver it well, efficiently? And let me dwell on some of these aspects. The first is the political narrative that we are a democracy, that we are actually a mother of all democracies. And we are a democracy because we have a live, vibrant election. We have an election where even a single voter in the midst of the Gir forest, where there may be 400 lions, actually votes, and a voting machine is taken there and it's taken to the Siachen, where there are Jawans, very few Jawans, but they all vote there through a voting machine, which is actually an electronic voting machine. Nowhere else in the world does this happen. We are a vibrant democracy because you have in the world, in the eyes of the world leaders, you have an elected leader who's been elected after twice and whose credit rating still remains high at over 70% plus. It's important to speak of the development narrative, and that is that India's digital payments today, we do about almost 44% of the world's real-time digital payments. We do about 11x more digital payments than what the United States and Europe does. We do 4x more payment than what China does. Every Indian has a digital identity. Each one of us has a bank account, and each one of us actually uses a mobile for digital payment. During the COVID period, we've been able to do over 2.5 billion COVID vaccinations, and 2.5 billion means 2.5 times the population of USA and Europe put together. And this was all paperless and cashless. During the last 8 years, we've built over 30 million houses. 30 million houses means that we've built a house for every single Australian, the entire population of Australia. We've provided toilets to over 110 million Indians. 110 million Indians, toilets, and that is equivalent to the population of Germany. That is, we have provided toilet to every single German. And we've provided pipe drinking water to actually 243 million citizens of India, which is like providing water connection to every single person living in a large country like Brazil. We've built 55,000 kilometers of road. It's like building 1.5 times the diameter of the entire earth. 55,000 kilometers of earth. We've also provided health insurance scheme for our citizens. 500 million citizens, we provide health insurance, which is totally paperless, cashless. You can be living in Tamil Nadu and going to Bihar. 500 million Indians means 1.5 times the population of the United States. That is the size and scale of the transformation that has been carried out in India. And therefore, a recent study by the Bank of International Settlement has said that what India has done in the last 8 years is equivalent to 50 years of progress. 50 years of progress. It's important to point out this because when we started the Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, in 2015, we said that we'll provide a bank account to every citizen, and during the period 2015 to 2017, almost 480 million bank accounts were opened in India. That is, 55% of the bank account opened across the world were opened in India. Every second bank account was opened in India. At that time when we started doing this, women, only 17% of the women had a bank account. The latest statistics that has come in, almost 80% of the women in India have a bank account. From 17% to 80% has been the transition. And the average money is about 71,000 rupees in these bank accounts. And therefore, we've been able to do financial and digital inclusion of the women. Ladies and gentlemen, this development and political perspective is necessary because we are the 5th largest economy in the world and we are on track to be the 3rd largest economy in the world. And it's also important to say that while we are the fastest, largest growing economy in the world, we need to accelerate the pace even further in the coming years and grow at even higher rates so that we can bring prosperity to all the citizens of India, and this would require all of us to work together. The second critical aspect of our presidency is what I termed as what is the priority of India? What are we trying to push for? The first and foremost is that at a point of time of global slowdown, when people have gone below poverty line, it's important to push for inclusive, resilient and sustainable growth for the global economy. Only when you have resilient and sustainable growth will we be able to support people living in developing economies, and we'll be able to support people, take them above poverty line. And therefore, one of our first key agenda is that we need to push for inclusive, sustainable, resilient growth by pushing for greater manufacturing, greater trade, greater production ensure that we are able to take world to a higher level of growth. And this is critical for the world economy. The second is that we are midway through the 2030 agenda of sustainable development goals. We are at the midpoint of it, and the world, instead of progressing, has actually regressed. So COVID has seen learning outcomes being impacted, health outcomes being impacted, nutrition being impacted, and a vast number of people losing their jobs. And therefore the biggest challenge is, how do you accelerate progress in sustainable development goals, and can we build a new accelerated action plan for lifting people above all this due to the impact of COVID in the coming years? And that would be our key priority. The third and most critical is a completely critical action on climate action and climate finance. Though we are not responsible for the carbonization that has taken place in the world, out of the total carbon space available of 2,800 gigatons at 1.5 degree centigrade, 2,400 of it is occupied by the developed world. Almost 88% of the carbon space has been occupied by industrialized world as they carbonized while industrializing. We in India have occupied only 52 gigatons, 1.5%. We are legally entitled to 18.5% on a per capita income basis. But irrespective of that, the Prime Minister has committed to Panchamrit at Glasgow. And his perspective is that India must take the lead and become the first country in the world to industrialize without carbonizing the world. We are the only nation amongst G20 to have achieved its NDC targets 9 years ahead of schedule. 9 years ahead of schedule. We are pushed for renewables. We have 172 gigawatts of renewables. We've come out with a green hydrogen mission, and we are pushing for decarbonizing all hard-to-abate sectors like refineries, steel, cement, so that we take the lead. Our view is that we are climatically blessed, we have top-class entrepreneurship, and future growth will be determined on how digital we go and how green we go. And therefore, we are accelerating the pace of climate action, and this would require, this is important because the Prime Minister talked about at length on lifestyle for sustainability. That is, each one of us, the developed countries committing to long-term goals and not achieving them, but it's the citizens of the world who have to play a key role, and therefore they'll have to change their lifestyle. Ensure that lights are switched off, ensure that water taps are switched off, and therefore he's talked about a new lifestyle for sustainability so that people can be pro-planet people. The citizens of the world have a big responsibility towards the world, and therefore convert each citizen into a pro-planet people. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, climate action, life is important. But finance is important because in 2009, the developed world had committed for $100 billion a year to the developing world in the name of climate justice, but has not lived up to it. None of them have lived up to this commitment for climate justice. But irrespective of that, vast amounts of private funds are available, institutional funds are available. They should flow into developing and emerging markets. But this would require a lot of credit enhancement, blended finance, new financial instruments, which multilateral financial institutions like World Bank and IMF will have to do. The challenge is that World Bank and IMF were constituted in the post-World War II era. That was a different era. It was not an era where you had the challenges of sustainable development goals and you had the challenges of climate finance. That was the post-World War II era. Today's era requires a different institution. And therefore, India's view is that the multilateral financial institutions need to be restructured for today's age to be institutions of climate finance and sustainable development goals, and they need to help emerging markets and developing nations to achieve their climate and SDG targets. And therefore, multilateral financial institution reform is a very critical part of India's agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, one of India's key agenda is, and its belief is, that we'll be able to make it a better world if we are able to push for digital transformation and use the model of digital public infrastructure that India has built up. India's built up digital public infrastructure, which is very different from the big tech model of the United States of America. If you look around the world, 2.5 decades, the last 2.5 decades, all tech innovations, all technological growth, all new models have come from. They have come from Google, they have come from Facebook, they have come from Apple, they have come from Microsoft, they have come from Amazon. In the case of China, they have come from Tencent, they have come from Alibaba. And that has been possible because citizens' data was owned by them, and they've been able to build cloud, artificial intelligence, machine learning, ChatGPT, because of access to citizens' data. Europe built an alternative model, which was the GDPR model. It focused on privacy of data, but that led to compromise on innovation. And if you look at the last 2 decades, not much innovation has come from Europe. In contrast, India did something very different. India built the railway tracks. The tracks on which it allowed private sector to innovate and compete. So we built the digital identity of every citizen, we built the bank accounts, we linked the Aadhaar, the identity and your mobile number to the bank account, and we said the mobile you can do digital transactions. That's what we did with COVID, that's what we did with DigiLocker, that's what we've done with Diksha, that's what we've done with Swayam in education and many other areas. We've allowed the private sector to innovate and compete on top of it. So India is the only country where PhonePe competes with Google Pay, where Paytm competes with WhatsApp in the market space. And to our mind, the model that India has built up is a model where the citizen owns his data through a data empowerment protection architecture. And citizens' consent is required. When you make your digital payment, you give the consent, and therefore consent is required. And therefore, this is the model which the world will follow in the coming years. And that is why it's important to say that we've actually out-excelled United States and Europe by doing 11x more payment. We do 42% of the real-time payment in the world. The next is China with 18%. And therefore, this model is really the model for the world to follow, because this technological innovation is really a breakthrough for the coming years. So as we take the G20 forward, it's important to put that narrative forward, which we'll do in the coming years. So digital transformation, digital public infrastructure is very critical. And lastly, the Prime Minister said that the key priority of India must be the women-led development. And women-led development, because in India today there are 1,022 women to 1,000 men. The latest NFHS survey has shown that there are more women to men. And therefore, it will be very difficult for the world to progress without women, and women must be put into leadership positions so that there can be greater financial and digital inclusion. There can be greater focus on their literacy, their mobility, their progress, their nutrition, and all these are very critical to ensure that there's equitable growth in the world. You can't grow with half your population not being put into leadership position and not playing a key role in transforming the world. And therefore, this is a key priority for us. We in India have pushed for financial and digital inclusion, for better learning outcomes, and for better nutritional standards for our women, and that will become a key priority for the G20 countries. So, 5 key priorities: inclusive, resilient, and sustainable growth, accelerating the progress of sustainable development goals for the world, climate action and climate finance with life, digital transformation and digital public infrastructure, and women-led development are the key priorities. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, how do we execute this G20? When G20s are held across the world, they are largely held in one or two cities of those. G20 is very different from a World Cup football which is held for 12 days, or very different from a T20 cricket tournament which is held for 10 days. G20 is about doing it for one whole year. And therefore, the Prime Minister felt that G20 should be taken across the country and converted not into an official G20 but into a people's movement and spread it across all the states of India. And therefore, we are doing 215 events in 59 cities of India. From Northeast to Kashmir to Arunachal to Bihar to Tamil Nadu, every state we are covering. So 59 cities of India means that it gives us an opportunity to improve the drainage, the sewage, the solid waste, the roads of all these cities and make them into top-class cities, and that is what is happening actually. We did the G20 in Udaipur, where Fatehpur Lake was cleaned up, where the Fateh Sagar Lake was cleaned up, the roads were done up, new branding was done, completely new city Udaipur looked. Similar in Aurangabad, similar in Kumaragam in Kerala. All these are becoming new cities, drainage, sewage, solid waste, all these areas. It also gives an opportunity to the states to show their culture, to show their one district, one product, handloom, handicraft, and use this to promote and market their states. So if in the world arena, if we are able to put all our states and union territories as states which are driving culture and create their brand entities, it will be a huge occasion for everybody to become a partner in the developmental process of India. And that is what our aim is, that every person, every citizen, every state must be an active player. And that is why we are doing model G20s in every school, every college, every university. We are doing U20 and many other things, because G20 comprises of the Sherpa track, which has 13 working tracks. There is a finance track of 8 tracks, but there are 12 engagement groups like Civil 20, there is a Youth 20, there is a Startup 20 which India has started. And we started the Startup 20 because we feel that it's the young Indians who are going to change the country. When we started the Startup India movement, there were just 452 startups. Today there are 92,000 startups in India. There are 110 unicorns in India. And these unicorns are actually transforming India. So if you look at what has happened, if you look at the payment field, you have so many 40 different unicorns competing with each other. From payment it led to credit, and you have unicorns like Lending Card, Pine Labs, all of them providing paperless credit to citizens of the country. And then you had another set of startups like Zerodha, Upstock, Grow, all of them, all unicorns. All of them started doing wealth management. They started, look at Zerodha, controlling young entrepreneur, 30 years old, controlling almost 28% of the stock market of India from tier 2, tier 3 cities. And then you had another set of young entrepreneurs who started doing insurance, Digit and Acco, all digital. You get an insurance policy in less than 2 minutes. My lifetime I used to take insurance policy which used to take 5 to 6 months. They do it in 2 minutes. So that is the digital revolution which India has seen. From payment, from identity to payment, from payment to credit, credit to wealth management to insurance is all digital now. India is transformed before our own lifetime. Many of us do not realize this, but India today is the most advanced country in the world. It is important to understand that we are digitally the most advanced country in the world. The infrastructure that we have built up is unparalleled in the world. And therefore, G20 is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to shape the destiny of the world, to bring the India narrative, and to bring peace and harmony to the world despite all the challenges. And that is what the Prime Minister, by saying that our presidency will be both inclusive, decisive, ambitious, and action-oriented, is saying that this is an opportunity for India to change the destiny of not merely India, our opportunity is now, but this is also an opportunity to shape the destiny of the world, which is what we'll do from G20. So with these few words, I think I've taken more than the time which was allocated to me. So with these few words, I really want to thank the Vice Chancellor and his very distinguished team for giving me this opportunity to come and speak at my alma mater. And I really feel it's a great pleasure and an honor for me to come back to this Delhi University amongst the very distinguished academicians and students and speak on G20. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir, for the most enlightening lecture. There are many things about the G20 and about our own country's achievement that have been highlighted by sir in his lecture. In fact, the presidency of the G20, accepted by India in this time of economic, geographic, social, and financial strife, reminds me of a couplet. आंधियों को जिद है जहां बिजली गिराने की, हमें भी आदत है आशियां वहीं बनाने की. I now request our chief guest and Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, to step forward to start the award ceremony, sir. We begin the award ceremony with the special award called the Nishtha Dhriti Satyam Samman. It is being conferred upon Professor P.C. Joshi, Department of Anthropology, for his exemplary contribution to the development of the university. Professor P.C. Joshi is unable to be with us, so on his behalf, Professor R.P. Mitra is receiving the award from the Department of Anthropology. Professor Joshi is one of the leading anthropologists in India today. He is an excellent academician, researcher, visionary administrator, and institution builder. He has been former acting Vice Chancellor and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Delhi. He received his training in anthropology from the University of Delhi, the University of Heidelberg, Germany, and the University of Louvain, Brussels, Belgium. He headed the Department of Anthropology, University of Delhi, IHBAS Delhi. He is an academician and he has given a new direction to research by combining theory and application in the practice of anthropology in India. He is a medical anthropologist who is also a specialist of anthropology, of disaster, visual, and development anthropology. He's collaborated with the United Nations, the European Union, Kobe University, Japan, and Heidelberg University on many international projects. And needless to say, he has been awarded with many awards and distinctions. The next award, the category is Distinguished Service Awards for Retired Teachers. We begin with the award for Professor Virinder Singh Parmar. His award, as again he's not able to be with us, is being received on his behalf by Professor Sunil Sharma from the Chemistry Department. Professor Virinder Parmar has been a professor in the Department of Chemistry, University of Delhi from 1994 to 2013. He has served as Chairman, Board of Research Studies, Head of Department of Chemistry and Provost of Guyer Hall. Professor Parmar has over 500 research papers in reputed national and international journals with high impact factors. He has 51 PhDs and 14 MPhil students to his credit. He has also received many awards, and he's been a part of the Health and Technology of McCUNY, Brooklyn, New York, USA Academic Staff Award for Experts, etc., etc. His list is really long, but presently Professor Parmar is faculty in nanoscience and in chemistry and biochemistry at the City University of New York, USA. The next award is Dr. Leela Omcheri, Department of Music. Dr. Leela, a retired professor from the Department of Music, has pioneered the age-old temple tradition of Sopan Sangeet as a separate branch of music. She has contributed substantially to unearthing rare palm leaves, manuscripts from the temples of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Through her concerted efforts, a descriptive catalogue of the rare palm leaf works on music and Malayalam literature has been prepared for the Trivandrum Sanskrit Manuscript Library. She has also studied and analyzed oral temple traditions. She has published research articles and books. She has brought out a number of CDs. She has been conferred upon by the Kerala State Sangeet Natak Academy, and at the age of 95, she continues to share her knowledge with young research scholars. The next award goes to Professor Rani Gupta, Department of Microbiology. You have to write it. I was also Oh. Okay, so the award was received by her daughter. Professor Rani Gupta, Department of Microbiology, served as faculty member in the Department of Microbiology. The primary research area of Professor Gupta includes microbial enzymes for industrial application and development of sustainable green solutions using enzymes as substitutes for chemical-based processes. She has supervised 21 doctoral theses over the years and has successfully isolated, characterized and deposited yeast strains in national repositories. She has an experience of over 30 years in teaching subjects of microbial physiology, metabolism, prokaryotic and eukaryotic diversity, etc. She has been the head of department, dean, faculty of interdisciplinary applied sciences, chairperson of the Board of Research Studies. A central instrumentation facility equipped with latest analytical equipment was set up for PhD and MSc students. Virology and cell culture facilities were also introduced during her tenure. The next award goes to Professor Deepti Tripathi, Department of Sanskrit. Professor Deepti was a faculty member in the Department of Sanskrit. Internationally acclaimed linguist and Indologist, Professor Deepti is the president of the International Association of Sanskrit Studies, headquartered in Paris, France. She is the first lady to occupy this position in recognition of her lifetime service to Sanskrit. She has authored many books. She was awarded Commonwealth Scholarship for Postdoctoral Research in UK, served as Director, Government of India, National Mission for Manuscripts. She has received prestigious Certificate of Honor awarded by the President of India, the highest recognition in Sanskrit studies. The next award goes to Professor P.B. Mangala, Department of Library and Information Science. Professor Mangala was the first to implement master's degree in Library and Information Science, MLIC course in place of Master of Library Science in 1972, and this was later followed in the whole country. Professor Mangala obtained his master's degree in history from Punjab University and his Library and Information Science degrees from the University of Delhi and Columbia University in New York. He was a Rockefeller Foundation Scholar at Columbia University in the 1960s. He has been the head of department, dean of Faculty of Arts, dean postgraduate evening studies, and chairman of the Board of Research Studies Humanities. He has many published books and articles to his credit. The next category is Distinguished Service Awards for Retired Persons in Non-Teaching category. The first award goes to Ms. Neelam Bedi from the Department of Plant Molecular Biology. Ms. Bedi has served the department as a joint scientific officer for more than 30 years. Her contribution to the department includes facilitating requirements of teachers and students for teaching and research purposes. Also, she has been instrumental in the documentation activities of IQAC and the NAC report. She has also handled the procurement of books and the maintenance of the departmental library. She has acted as a liaison between the student and staff for the conduct of examinations, admission seminar, and other extracurricular activities. The next award goes to Mr. Johar Singh, Department of Social Work. Mr. Johar Singh? I think he's not present. May I request Sandeep Sharma ji to accept the reward? Sandeep ji, please accept the reward on behalf of Mr. Johar Singh, Department of Social Work. Mr. Johar Singh has dedicated 35 years of service to the Department of Social Work, University of Delhi. He has served in the post of cook in the hostel of the department. He was a diligent and hard-working staff. He has taken interest in providing healthy and variety of food, thus exposing the students to the diverse food culture of India. The next award goes to Ms. Shama Parveen Farooqi, Department of Urdu. In case she's not there, can I request Dr. Gitanjali Kala to please come on the stage to receive it on her behalf? Ms. Farooqi has served as an Urdu typist in the Department of Urdu. She has served the department for over 33 years with her efficient service. Her contribution includes being an Urdu typist and dealing with other office work such as admission to all courses, maintaining registers of teaching and non-teaching, and conducting exam for all courses. The next category of awards is Excellence Awards for Teachers in Service in Departments / Institutes / Centers age 45 years and above. The first award goes to Dr. Asani Bhaduri, Cluster Innovation Center. Dr. Bhaduri is serving in the CIC. He is a polymath with interest and expertise in a gamut of areas, including molecular, computational biology, infectious disease, wildlife and environment, citizen science, creative writing, and Indian classical music, to name a few. His primary research work is on the host-pathogen interaction and tuberculosis infection. He has continuously improvised teaching learning processes, and his open classroom during the COVID pandemic was a favorite amongst the students. He has worked on themes such as infectious diseases, public health, citizen science, and birds of India. The next award goes to Professor Sanjoy Roy, Department of Social Work. Ma'am, please come. So Professor Sanjoy Roy is teaching in the Department of Social Work, University of Delhi, and advocates for indigenous social work in India. His areas of interest: social work practice and critical social work, social legislation, exclusion, social justice, human rights and empowerment for disadvantaged groups, Director of Field Work and Placement in Department of Social Work as Warden of Mansarovar Hostel and Warden of Social Work Hostel. The next award goes to Professor Neeti Bhasin, Department of Commerce. Professor Neeti Bhasin is a professor in the Department of Commerce, University of Delhi. She has authored many books on foreign direct investment, the Indian financial system, and ease of doing business. Professor Bhasin has contributed to many research journals, including Journal of Business Research, Multinational, Business Review, and Journal of International Trade and Economic Development. She has delivered talks in various institutions, including Toulouse Business School, France, University of Reading, UK, World Finance Conference, Brazil, ICN Business School, and she is also as coordinator at the department. She has been instrumental in getting memorandum of understanding signed with foreign universities and organizing collaborative events with educational institutions in countries such as France and the USA. Excellence Award in Teachers in Departments and Institute. The next one is for Mr. Pushkar Anand, Law Center 1. Mr. Pushkar Anand is an assistant professor in Law Center 1, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi. He has published articles in leading international journals such as the Journal of International Economic Law, Asia Pacific Law Review, Indian Law Review, and Indian Journal of International Law. Mr. Anand has also published several book chapters in edited collections. Mr. Pushkar's work has substantially been recognized in a short span of his academic career, and his work has been referred to in the United Nations reports. Additionally, he has undertaken several administrative responsibilities at the center and at the faculty level. This is for Professor Inderjeet Singh, Department of Environmental Studies. Professor Inderjeet Singh, Department of Environmental Studies. As he is unable to be with us today because of his travel commitments, on his behalf, his sister, Professor Sarabjit, will be accepting the reward. Professor Inderjeet Singh is an eminent faculty in the development of environmental studies. He has more than 7,500 citations and an H index of 45. Professor Singh is a fellow of the Indian National Science Academy and received an extramural grant as both PI and co-PI from different funding agencies. He has also authored 7 books and 22 chapters. Professor Singh has been the recipient of many prestigious awards, and he has served as Dean of Faculty of Science, University of Delhi, and Head, Department of Environmental Studies, Director for Center for Environmental Management of Degraded Ecosystems. The next award goes to Professor Sanjay Bhatt, Department of Social Work. Professor Sanjay Bhatt has served over 29 years in the Department of Social Work, University of Delhi. He has also served in University of Lucknow, Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapeeth Varanasi, Kurukshetra University, and Chitrakoot Gramoday Vishwavidyalaya. Committed to bridging the gap between social work, education, and practice, he is known for experimenting with different teaching methodologies and working with people at the grassroots level. He has led 3 action projects at DU, University for Development Action and Integrated Learning, to rehabilitate earthquake victims in Bhuj, Gujarat. Now, the next category is Excellence Awards for Teachers in Service in College, aged 45 years or below. Professor Manoj Saxena, Department of Electronics, Deen Dayal Upadhyay College. Professor Saxena, working as faculty in Department of Electronics at Deen Dayal Upadhyay College, has published 220 research papers with H index 26, Scopus citations 2200 plus, a book and book chapters. He has supervised 4 PhDs. Professor Saxena has been a project investigator of 15 research projects funded by various funding agencies. He received the Meritorious Teacher Award from the Government of Delhi in 2014. The next award goes to Dr. Pooja Goyal, Department of Commerce, Shaheed Bhagat Singh College. Dr. Goyal is a professor in commerce, University of Delhi, with more than 15 years of teaching experience at the undergraduate and postgraduate level. She has authored several research papers published in highly regarded and prestigious journals as the Journal of Sustainable Tourism, Journal of Business Research, Journal of Cleaner Production, International Journal of Bank Marketing. She has received the award for college lecturers from 2020 to 2021 from the Government of Delhi. The next award goes to Dr. Anandita Sarkar, Department of Geography, Miranda House. Dr. Sarkar is an associate professor in the Department of Geography at Miranda House. She has completed several projects funded by government and international organizations. At the intersection of development and environment, her research includes how technologies and policies of resource use and access shape spaces.
Taking it forward, now the Excellence Awards for Teachers in Service in Colleges, age above 45 years. The first is Dr. A.J.C. Bose, Department of Economics, Shri Ram College of Commerce. Over the last 35 years, Dr. Bose has excelled in teaching and research, teaching economics papers and relating to undergraduate students as a counselor, advisor, mentor, and promoter has been his ceaseless passion. His academic research and writings is focused on industrial organization and labor relations. Professor Meetu Khosla, Department of Psychology, Daulat Ram College. On her behalf, I request Professor Ranjan Tripathi to please accept the award. Professor Meetu Khosla specializes in psychology of health and well-being, neuroaffective sciences, and cultural and indigenous psychology. She has 35 international research collaborations and more than 90 research publications in these fields. She has many fellowships to her credit and published 2 books. Professor Sunita Bhagat, Department of Chemistry, Atmaram Sanatan Dharma College. Professor Sunita Bhagat has been teaching and research experience of about 30 years and is an excellent teacher and a dedicated researcher. She has been actively involved in research projects awarded by national funding agencies, and she has worked extensively on complex synthetic problems of medicinal importance and has published 55 research papers in international journal of repute. In addition, she has authored 3 books and 3 book chapters and filed 2 patents to her credit. Next category is the Best Website Award for departments, institutes, and centers. The university recognizes the outstanding features of the website of Law Center 1. Many salient features are associated with the Law Center 1 website. One such feature is the user-friendliness of the website. Every critical aspect of Law Center 1 has been listed on the website. In addition, every new notice information is tagged with a new flash, making it easier for the user. The website focuses on the needs of students and aspires to make them more informed in form of providing Students' Corner and useful links to various law-related government agencies like Supreme Court of India, Law Commission of India, Parliament, Constitutional Assembly debates, etc. Best Website Award for College, Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies. Their website is an excellent design concept with visually rich content. Developed in-house based on an open source platform, the website is integrated with an internally built ERP system and is GDPR compliant for cookie usage. In addition, the website offers automated backups for failover protection and it's secured by Securi, a server hardening software. The website also offers a user-selected text-to-speech feature, a user subscription to notifications, and a dynamic timeline features to display the college's history. Now I am honored to announce the posthumous awards. These are the faculty members whom we lost during the COVID times. These awards are a grateful recognition to their contribution in the university. A family member representing them would receive the award on their behalf. Late Professor Vanita Tripathi, Department of Commerce. On her behalf, her husband, Dr. Yogesh Misra, will receive the award. Late Professor Vanita Tripathi was academically brilliant, being topper in school, double gold medalist in BCom Honours from SRCC, gold medalist in MCom, and topper in MPhil from Department of Commerce. She was the recipient of Best Business Academic of the Year Award and gold medal in 2012. The recipient of the prestigious Professor Manubhai M. Shah Memorial Research Award. She published 6 books and 78 research papers in reputed international and national journals. Despite her achievements, she remained humble, cheerful, and an excellent teacher and mentor. Late Professor Vinay Gupta, Department of Physics and Astrophysics. On his behalf, I request Dr. Animesh Naskar to please accept the award. Late Professor Vinay Gupta started his career at DDUC, University of Delhi, as assistant professor. Later, he joined the Department of Physics and Astrophysics, University of Delhi in 2003 as reader and was promoted as professor in the year 2009. Along with the academic responsibilities, he also served as Dean Examination and Dean Faculty of Technology at the University of Delhi. He was a legend in the field of material science and was recognized as one of the most distinguished scientists in the world in a survey conducted by Stanford University, USA in 2020. Late Professor B.P. Sahu, Department of History. I request Dr. Samir Anand to please accept the award on his behalf. Late Professor B.P. Sahu had a distinguished career at the University of Delhi, spanned over 40 decades. Professor Sahu supervised several research students. He published nearly 10 books and over 50 research articles on wide-ranging themes in the history of ancient and early medieval India. Late Professor Sunil Kumar, Department of History. I again request Dr. Gitanjali Kala to please accept, I request Professor Ranjan Tripathi to please accept the award on his behalf. He was educated at the Universities of Delhi and Chicago and went on to complete his doctoral work on the emergence of the Delhi Sultanate at Duke University. He taught for over 35 years at the Department of History, University of Delhi, where he was a medieval history professor and head of the department. Late Professor Veena Kukreja, Department of Political Science. I request Dr. Meenakshi to please come and accept the award on her behalf. Late Professor Veena Kukreja was taught almost for 40 years at the University of Delhi, initially as a lecturer at Shivaji College and Janki Devi College, and subsequently as an associate professor and professor at the Department of Political Science, Delhi University. Professor Kukreja was an eminent scholar, a dedicated teacher, a generous colleague with impeccable integrity. Late Professor Prateek Chaudhary, Department of Music. I request Dr. Bipin Tiwari to please, Vineet Goswami ji to please accept the award on his behalf. Professor Prateek Chaudhary received his early training from the legendary sitar masterio Ustad Mushtaq Ali Khan of the Senia Gharana, and also from his father, the internationally acclaimed sitar artist Padma Bhushan Pandit Debu Chaudhary. Professor Chaudhary was an accomplished artist performing across all corners of India and abroad. He has more than 30 years of association with the Department of Music. Now, the Special Appreciation Award for Non-Teaching Staff in Service. Shri Pradeep Kumar, Joint Registrar. He has done his MSc, MTech, LLB and MBA. He started his career as Assistant Professor of Physics at the Government Postgraduate College, Berinag, Pithoragarh, Uttarakhand. On qualifying Civil Services Examination 1997, he joined Armed Forces Headquarters. He served 13 years as Assistant Director and Deputy Director in Air Force Headquarters and DRDO. Then he shifted to University of Delhi as Deputy Registrar in 2012. Presently, he serves as Joint Registrar in the university and holds multiple vital portfolios in the Vice Chancellor's Office, Registrar's Office, etc. Now, Shri Sharad Kumar Sant, Deputy Registrar. He joined the University of Delhi as Assistant Registrar in 2009. Before joining University of Delhi, he worked as Statistical Officer at Jamia Millia Islamia, Central University, Delhi, and also at Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan. As Deputy Registrar, he looks after various finance branch sections. He was instrumental in implementing multiple online modules such as payment of salary and other payments through digital mode. implementation of PFMS, etc. His contribution is immense and laudable. Dr. Naresh Kumar, Assistant Registrar. He joined the University of Delhi as Section Officer in 1998. He obtained his doctorate in economics from Bundelkhand University, Jhansi. At the University of Delhi, he has handled the estate, scholarship cell, procurement and store, and college branches. Currently, he is the Assistant Registrar of the college branch. Shri Zulfi Ram Sohol, Section Officer. His journey from a daily wager to becoming a valuable member of the examination wing at the University of Delhi is a testament to his hard work, perseverance, and dedication. He demonstrated a strong work ethic and unwavering commitment to his duties. He was the instrumental in creating a record for the highest PhD in the last 2 years. Mr. Hitesh Nirmal, Junior Assistant. He joined the University of Delhi as Junior Assistant in September 2014 in the Council branch and was promoted to Assistant in 2020. At present, he is serving in the office of the Vice Chancellor. He is particularly related to the amendment of the Act, statutes and ordinances of the University of Delhi, and despite being posted in the VC office, he continued to carry out his additional responsibility and has made an admirable contribution. Finally, the names of our security guards. आपने कार्य में तत्परता हेतु सुरक्षा कर्मियों की सराहना के लिए उनका सम्मान. Mr. Narayan Dutt, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. Virender Kumar, Mr. Vijender Singh Rana, Mr. Surendra. A cash prize of 51,000 for doing exemplary work. Mr. Narayan Dutt, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. Virender Singh, Mr. Vijender Singh Rana and Mr. Surendra. 5,100. Cash prize of 5,100 rupees and a citation. Mr. Rameshwar Dayal, Mr. Yadram, Mr. Sanjay Pathak, Mr. Ravi, Mr. Mithilesh. Mr. Rameshwar Dayal, Mr. Yadram, Mr. Sanjay Pathak, Mr. Ravi, and Mr. Mithilesh. इसी श्रृंखला में महिला सिक्योरिटी गार्ड्स मिस पिंकी, मिस मीना गोसाई, मिस सुमन, मिस गीना, मिस रितु. अपनी सभी ड्यूटियों को तत्परता से निभाते हुए फोरफ्रंट में रहते हुए हमारी महिला सिक्योरिटी गार्ड. मिस पिंकी, मिस मीना गोसाई, मिस सुमन, मिस गीना, मिस रितु. इसके साथ ही आज के इस उत्कृष्टता पुरस्कारों की कड़ी यहीं समाप्त होती है. हम सब एक बार जोरदार तालियों से सभी पुरस्कार विजेताओं को बधाई दें। अभी सब यही रुकेंगे, कार्यक्रम अभी बाकी है। कृपया आप अपने स्थान पर बने रहें। सभी अपने स्थान पर कृपया बने रहें। नाउ फॉर द फॉर्मल वोट ऑफ थैंक्स। अच्छा, सभी महिला सुरक्षा कर्मी एक ग्रुप फोटोग्राफ के लिए। और बाकी सुरक्षा कर्मी भी कृपया मंच पर आए। कृपया तालियों से इन सबको बधाई दें। Now for formal vote of thanks, I invite Professor K. Ratnabali, Dean Academic Affairs.
Namaskar. I think on. Oh. Namaskar. Most respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Yogesh Singh Ji, respected Professor Balram Pani Ji, Dean of Colleges, Professor Shri Singh Ji, Director South Campus, Dr. Vikas Gupta Ji, Registrar University of Delhi, Professor Rajni Abi Proctor, Finance Officer, all administrative deans and functional deans, all principals, all awardees, faculty members, senior administrative staff and other staff, and students, family members of awardees. It's indeed a heartwarming, I would say, feeling to be proposing the vote of thanks of this particular event, where we have seen an enlightening, lecture by Shri Amitabh Kant Ji, who is the Sherpa G20, and the award to excellent contribution by teaching and non-teaching staff, as well as posthumously who have been awarded, our teachers who have contributed much to the service of this university. My special vote of thanks, I would say, would first of all go to our chief guest, Shri Amitabh Kant Ji. We all know that he is Sherpa G20, and we have seen everywhere, in every communication, in every, I think, banners, we have seen G20, which is being emphasized. And being the Sherpa, he is totally occupied, but he has spared his valuable time to be with us. And we thank him for applauding the university and its contribution to the nation building. He also highlighted the challenges that we as humanity face and the significant role that each one of us can play, and in making the world, a sustainable, as he had said, inclusive and resilient. Sir has also enlightened us with the different narratives of our country, Bharat, and its accomplishments. He has also talked about the role that each one of us can play, starting from nurturing within our four walls of the family, how we can make our lifestyle more sustainable, and taking it to the level of, the world stage, where every person, every country needs to work towards sustainable development. So, and he also said that the presidency of G20, which we have received as a status, is once in a lifetime opportunity to shape the world, and we should make, use of it. I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor for giving his introductory remarks and setting the tone in the university, that the university and colleges, the action we need to take in order to, take it forward, the aims and goals of G20. I also thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, for being the constant guiding light for all of us. And secondly, I thank our Dean of Colleges and Director South Campus, sir, for their constant support. I thank our Registrar, Dr. Vikas Gupta ji, for introducing, our chief guest for today and welcoming and extending a very warm welcome to all of us. And I thank sir especially for hand-holding and guiding us and supporting us in all aspects of this, for making this particular function successful. I thank Proctor Madam for her support. I thank Professor Bipin Tiwari for being the, I would say, constant supporter in organizing this event, and also for providing two sign, language interpreters for this entire event. I thank Mr. Sandeep, Assistant Registrar, Procurement and Store, and his whole team of General Branch for facilitating the whole process of this particular function. I thank our Finance Officer and his team for facilitating the financial support much needed for this particular event. I thank the UCC, led by Professor Sandeep Singh, for the videography, photography and live streaming of this event. I thank the Dean Faculty of Music and her team for singing the Kulgeet, the Saraswati Vandana. I thank Secretary Garden Committee for the beautiful flower arrangement on the days as well as in this hall. I thank Captain Parminder Sehgal and her team of NCC cadets for systematic implementation of the event. I thank the team of engineering department for facilitating the whole process by providing the infrastructure, making sure that everything works properly. I thank the International Guest House for the sumptuous meal which is waiting for us. And I thank my team of academic affairs. Thank all the participants for making this event successful. And last but not the least, I thank the two comparers for today's event, Dr. Namita and Dr. Mridula. Both of them have conducted the events and the sessions so beautifully. Thank you so very much. And sorry for such a long word of thanks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I've been instructed by Registrar Delhi University to extend his vote of thanks for Professor Ratnabali for the successful event today. May I now request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
जन गण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष माहे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I request all the award winners as well as the guests to kindly join us for lunch. Thank you very much.